Amani. Mm-hmm. And we have your mom here.
Yes.
Hi, Mom.
Hi.
Thank you for supporting your daughter.
Always,
with such a difficult decision.
Yes, very
to
difficult.
come on air to talk about your troubled relationship with your father, who is Brandon Casey from Jagged Edge.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so you're the oldest baby?
Mm-hmm. Yes, I am. He has 2 other kids, my little sister and my little brother. My little brother is 1, I believe, and my little sister is 11? 12, 11.
Wow, so you were the only one for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, now I want to ask, because you're talking to a blogger.
Yes.
And I don't want this to turn into a bash session on your dad.
Right.
Your story touched me because I was born out of wedlock. Mm-hmm. My father has a few other kids in wedlock, outside of wedlock. Mm-hmm. But I was that little girl that you are now. And it took me a long time to get over it. I had some therapy. But I want you to talk a little bit about what has happened between you and your father over the years.
Okay. I mean, it goes all the way back to me being a little girl. Okay.
Take your time. And Mom, whenever you feel like you need to kind of jump in, because I know this is hard.
Okay.
All right. You know what? Let me start with Mom, because I kind of want to break the ice. She seems a little nervous. It's okay.
Yeah.
It's okay.
All right.
So, Mom, you had a relationship, you and Brandon. Were you in a relationship? Were you married?
No, we weren't married. We were young.
Okay.
I met him. He was in high school. Okay. I was a year out of high school.
Oh, you guys were babies.
Yeah, we were. And I lived in Chicago, and he lived here, of course. So I did kind of a lot of back and forth, and we saw each other whenever I came in town. When Amani was conceived, he was in Chicago at the time at my expense. I sent for him to come to visit.
Okay. So, because he wasn't in the group at this time. Him and his brother was not signed. So this was before the record deal.
Before.
Okay. And you sent for him using your own funds.
Yes, own funds.
Okay.
Not only him, his brother.
You sent for the brother too? Mm-hmm. Girl.
And, it was everything at my expense. And that was what I wanted to do, I just wanted him to come, to be comfortable, so he wouldn't be somewhere where he didn't know anybody or whatever.
You wanted him to see his baby. You wanted him to see his firstborn.
She wasn't here yet.
Oh, she wasn't here yet. Okay, so I'm thinking that.
So we going all the way back to before.
You were one. Okay.
So I mean, that's where she was conceived.
Okay.
So just to give everybody an idea that she wasn't just a groupie baby or whatever.
Okay.
We had some history prior to them being signed.
Okay.
So as far as like in a relationship, it's long distance. So no, not really like that, but it was for a period of time.
Okay.
Amani was born. He met her at, when she was about 2 weeks old. We can just jump on to once we had her. We started kind of bickering and going back and forth. He was kind of scared to let his mom know, and I sent her a invitation to the baby shower.
Okay.
So I got a phone call, cussed me out, of course.
His mom cussed you out?
No, she didn't.
He did.
Because I was the one who sent her the invitation. I guess they were a little bit intimidated by her. Okay. Everything, it was acting all scary about, my mom's going to flip out or whatever. Well, I don't know her, so I just sent it just to be cordial. Here's the invitation. So I got a phone call about that.
And he let you have it?
Yeah.
For, I guess, as they would say, or as he would say, you kind of overstepped your boundary. This should have came from me.
Yeah.
So this baby she was already 2 years old. You're beautiful, by the way.
Thanks. But this was a month before. Like the baby shower was happening a month before she was born.
Oh, before she was born. Okay.
So I'm like, you should tell at this point. You need to let her know.
Why didn't he want to tell his mom? Did he ever tell you that?
Well, because the other twin was having a baby at the time.
Oh.
And they're 6 months apart. The twins' kids, the firstborns are 6 months apart. So I guess he felt like it was too much to take on with both of them having a baby all at once. But I'm in
so it's like, let my brother go first and I come next.
Okay, well, he was already here by this time.
Okay.
Because he was born in September. Amani was born in February. So she's already, meeting this new baby already. She knows about him. Why not let her, while she's already in grandmommy mode, let her know that you got one too.
Both her
Don't
twins
keep mine a
are having
secret.
2 babies.
Right.
So ultimately, I mean, even though they didn't come from the same mom, but it's like 2 twins.
You got
born
2
again.
babies coming, right?
Okay. So
Okay.
he decided not to let his mom know. Mom found out. He
Yeah.
basically
Bless me out. All right.
Okay.
So,
now, fast forward. Amani's here.
Imani's here.
All right.
I came in town. Brought her. She was.
You came to Atlanta from Chicago to Atlanta.
Yeah,
okay.
I flew in. Basically his dad had came over and picked us up and took us to the house, and Brandon was able to meet the baby for the first time. We were waiting around on the grandma to show up. She came home and she just fell in love with Amani. Amani was her first girl.
Okay.
So at that point, everything was seemingly going well.
So he was, by this point, everybody knows.
Everybody knows.
They're happy. They're celebrating the baby.
Yeah.
Where's your relationship at this point with Brandon?
We were cool. Of course, I still lived in Chicago, but I was just, kind of visiting. To speed it up a little fast forward, I moved in, brought her down to visit at Christmas. I guess her first Christmas.
Okay. And
she would be about 9, 10 months old, something like that.
Okay.
And so I ended up staying, and I told my mom, because his mom, Mrs. Casey, was asking me to stay, and
And what year was this? Because how
she's 95. She was born in 95. So
this
Christmas
is
of 95.
95. Okay.
So I ended up staying. By this time, they were trying to get in. Get signed.
Okay. So by this point, they had already formed a group.
Yeah.
Amani was already born. You guys were co-parenting with the help of the grandparents. And okay. And so they're trying to form a group.
Yes.
Okay. This group is formed.
Yeah.
Now, I take it you guys just kind of had a cordial relationship. Yeah. Were you still sleeping with each other after Amani was born? Okay, I hate to get so specific because you probably don't want to hear your mama doing that, but that's how you got here, girl. That's how you got here. Okay, so y'all are still dealing with each other.
Yeah.
Okay, so which is normal. You guys have made a baby.
Yeah.
So how long after Amani is born and all of this transpired between the families, you guys are back on good terms? When did they get signed? I'm sorry. Let me rephrase that. When they got signed, were you guys still sleeping with each other at the time?
Yeah, off and on.
Off and on.
Yeah,
so you were flying in from Chicago?
Yeah. Whenever I come down, we would see each other, whatever. Prior to the whole Christmas thing, she was christened in that October. I guess I left that out. And they all came to Chicago for the christening.
Okay.
And Brandon refused to leave and go back with his mom.
Oh, he didn't want to?
He didn't want to. He ended up staying in Chicago for a few weeks, and then we ended up talking, and I told him that I would move there, and I would come there.
So he could be closer, and you guys, okay.
And that was my whole goal. It wasn't really for us to be together. It was more so to move her to, so that she can be in a place with both of her parents.
Okay.
He's from a 2-parent home. I'm from a 2-parent home. So it was nothing other than what I wanted for my child.
For her to have her dad in her life, which he's kind of been on and off. So now that your mom has kind of gave us some backstory to kind of let you know what it really was, now that you're here in Atlanta and you're here to stay, how close have you been with your dad?
Honestly, I've gone years without seeing him, and I've been here since I was 7. So here I go, about to get emotional.
Oh, don't get emotional. Okay.
I moved here. I'm gonna jump in and say that I moved here back and forth. I was kind of back and forth with her because of financial reasons.
Okay.
I couldn't get along with his mom while staying with her, so that lasted a couple of months.
Okay.
I moved out. And I moved back to Chicago. I saved up some money. I was a nail technician at the time. And I ended up moving back in April and I moved into my own place.
Okay.
At that time, he was probably in the process of getting signed. Kandi from Escape was involved. And Zebo, I guess they were managing and introduced Brandon and the rest of the group to Jagged Edge. I mean, to Jermaine Dupri and formed the group Jagged Edge.
Okay. So she was already how old at this time?
At that time, she was already at about 2 or just about 2.
Okay.
When we left and came back. So she was about a year and a half. And when I came back, by the time I came back, he was involved. It was no longer like a business relationship with Kandi. I think he and Kandi were an item at the time.
Oh.
And of course,
how did you take that? Because you guys were still dealing with each other.
Yeah, we were still dealing with each other. And I guess, she felt like I was the baby mom from hell, because she's told me that before, that I was the baby mom from hell.
Okay.
But it was because she had only heard one side of the story.
Of course, that
and of
happens
course,
a lot.
Guys always paint a picture to whoever they're trying to deal with.
To make it seem like
it's, oh, I'm not sleeping with her.
Yeah.
We sleep in 2 different bedrooms, and we were never together. And I mean, because all these same questions she asked me when we finally had a conversation.
Did she ever try to come in between him being a dad to Amani?
No, she actually didn't. She always, she encouraged him to be a dad. She hadn't had any children at the time. She wrote me checks for, to help pay for some of her expenses before. And she came over with him to pick her up.
Okay. And you had no problem?
Well, I had a problem with her, so she didn't get out the car. She couldn't get out the car.
But you allowed Amani to go with her dad and with Kandi at the time when they were an item.
Absolutely.
Okay, so you weren't like bitter or anything?
I would say I was. I'm being honest. I'm not a liar. One thing I'm not is a liar. I'm going to tell it how it is.
But did you make it difficult for him to see
No.
Amani? So it's never been, oh, your mom kept me from.
No, I do remember going to Kandi's house and playing with her dogs and stuff like that. Like,
okay.
And the only time that I really made it difficult, I will say, is when I started seeing, like, I sat down and had a conversation with his mom once. And I said, look, because this whole thing with Kandi is kind of new, I'm just asking that y'all keep my baby away from that situation. I don't know what the situation with them
You don't know if it's permanent, what it is. Okay.
So I just, this is my baby. And this was prior to her being she was still in diapers at that time.
Okay.
So I was like, just please. And his mom was like, okay, yeah, I agree. I would, I totally agree with how you feel. I would feel the same way. And so one day I got a phone call. They had a party for their grandma in Alabama.
Okay.
And of course, when I got the phone call, it was like, oh, Kandi went on this trip.
Oh.
And she said, and she was holding your baby and playing mama to your baby the whole time.
Girl, hold on for a second, because that's disrespect right there. So I'm going to have to talk to your mom about this. So she was holding your baby.
Changing diapers and everything.
Like she's mommy.
That came back to me.
Now, I got to ask, what happened? What did you do? Because I know you did something when you found out this other woman.
I hit the roof. And I went off. And
that was very disrespectful. That's
went off.
Not your baby. We're not cool like that.
And then I was accused of being all kind of stalkers. Oh, you drove past the house.
No, you just got the information.
I got the information. Okay. And the information came from someone who went there with them, which was the other twins' baby mama. Oh. And so the mom was like, oh, she's a liar. She's a stalker. She's this, she's that. Because this girl, and they had their own little relationship, and she, I guess because we wasn't to the mom's. So the mom says, if I didn't throw hands, or if she was lying on me, then you should have got up.
And we're talking about the other twins' baby mama.
Yeah, the grandma.
Oh, the grandmother.
Their mother thought that if I was telling the truth, then I should have got up and swung on the girl. For saying that she didn't tell me that, and I said, I don't have any reason to lie.
Yeah, what you got to fight for? She said what she said.
Right.
But you handled it like a grown woman. Okay.
Right. She just told me she didn't want her name put in, but at the end of the day, I'm not going to be called a stalker before I tell who really said it. You did call me with the information.
Okay.
I didn't call you and ask you. You called me and told me.
Okay.
So
what happened with you and Brandon when you found out that he was allowing Kandi to play mom to Imani?
It was just a big mess. We were constantly bickering and arguing, and we could never really work things out as parents because his mom was always involved.
Okay.
And I guess others who know them and people throughout the industry, they know how the relationship is. I've heard plenty of stories as far as how the mom always gets involved in their personal affairs. Yeah. She's run off quite a few people or whatever. But I'm just not that person that's going to kiss up to her. And so it was always like, I don't like this girl. Mm-hmm. You know, it's like this one right here, this is the one that I absolutely can't stand. Mm. But we had, you know,
and she said that to me several times.
Your dad's mom told my you she did not like your mom
all the time.
That's disrespectful. You shouldn't bring a child into adult affairs. Like that was definitely.
And she does it to my little sister now. So.
Like her little sister recently, they
did have a baby.
She'll sit in the room with us and like tell us how all of our moms are stupid. She don't like none of our moms.
This is Brandon's mom, the twins' mom.
I promise you.
What? Grandma get down like that?
She's just evil. I mean, some people. I don't know. I guess as long as you're kissing up to her, she's your best friend.
Okay.
But when you got somebody that's going to go against the grain, it's like it's war.
Okay.
And that was the whole thing. You know, she always kind of wanted to be in control of the situation. And I guess I was supposed, because I was her son's age, I was supposed to act like her son.
Exactly. Okay.
But your son is scared of you. You know, his friends were scared of you. But I felt like I'm somebody's mom. I'm an adult.
Right.
You know, I mean, I might be a young adult, but I'm still an adult and I demand my respect. If you want the respect, you have to give it. So we just had this relationship, like it was on and off. Sometimes we would be okay. And other times we just would be at each other's throat.
Okay.
And I remember her telling me clearly one day, this is after I moved into my apartment, she was like, if you want him, you're going to have to play your part. Mm.
She said
this. You see him talking to another girl, he doesn't like all that arguing and fighting. You just see him and act like you don't care and turn the other cheek, basically, is what she was telling me to do. And I'm like, oh, no.
Don't cause no scene. Basically, don't cause no scene.
But, yeah, so on to the whole Imani thing. I don't really want to.
No, and I want to, and I mean, no, I think it's important that people do hear the backstory because the children do get caught in the middle. And I just kind of wanted to, and I'm glad you were very transparent about it. You weren't coming on here to be messy. You're just basically telling it what it was. I was, you know, grown. I'm a mother now. I'm not finna have nobody else mama telling me what to do, and definitely somebody else trying to play mama to my baby.
Right.
You know, this is my child.
Right.
So I don't care how much money she got, what her connections are. This is my baby. Right. So I commend you on that. Now I do want to talk about financial responsibility before we get into the dynamics of how close you and your dad have been over the years, okay, and how it's hurt you and affected you in many ways. Mm-hmm. Has he ever been there financially to really help you to take care of Imani the way that she should be taken care of? Have you ever had to sacrifice? How was it?
I did have to make several sacrifices in the beginning.
Now, this was before he got signed or after?
Even after.
Okay. And what type of sacrifices were those?
I was taking care of her for the first 3 years by myself. His mom would buy clothes and things of that nature. He really didn't have any money at the time. But the minute that he did get some money, his mom came in town to pick her up. She was about 4 at the time, or 3, maybe 3.
Okay.
And she came in town to pick her up. And she stayed at my apartment, and she only came in to pick her up, spend the night, and they were going to fly out the next morning. Okay. So while she was there, she handed me paper and said, I got something for you to look at, and I want you to sign it.
And this is the mom?
This is his mom.
Okay. How old was Imani at the time?
She was about 3.
Okay.
And so when I looked at it, I read it over, and I was like, oh, this is a child support contract like she wants me to sign. And I'm thinking like, she has to be out of her mind. It said that they were going to pay me a total of $200 on the 15th of every month until she was 18. And they would have her every Christmas, and they would pay her expenses as far as private school tuition and extracurricular activities if they approved of the schools or anything that I chose for her. They would approve it.
So they
would
had
pay
already
50%.
been talking behind the scenes. Okay.
Right. And so
this was coming up now. So at this time, was he formulating a deal?
Yes.
So they were trying
I believe that they might have been signed at the time. We were just, I guess, the album was in the making.
And you were out of the loop.
Yeah, I was all the way out of the loop. I was still living in Chicago. I was back in Chicago at this point.
Okay.
I had moved back because when I was living in my apartment, my first apartment in Atlanta after moving out of his mom's house and coming back, she gave me a job. She was a regional director for KinderCare, and she put me at a center in one of the centers, the child care centers, but it was outside of the center that she had my daughter at. So she separated us, and that was her whole aim. And I think that was the whole aim. I want her with us, and we're going to push you on over to the side. And at the time, it was a job making $6.50 an hour.
Yeah.
And I'm used to doing nails, so I'm, making well over $1,000 a week at home. And I'm like, this is like chicken nuggets. I'm not getting ready to take care of a child on this. And so I ended up moving back. I couldn't afford it.
Right.
Like, I wasn't going to live in a garbage apartment or in the projects with my baby. I was just like, this apartment is like $600 a month, $6.50 an hour, and no financial support. What do you want me to do? So I packed up and I left again.
Now, did you, when you got this contract, did you sign it?
No, I absolutely went and got an attorney. And I retained an attorney to look at it. And at that point, we were going to court.
Okay. And so you ended up taking him to court. Now, did they reinforce a new child support order?
That one didn't work out. She said she ended up sending me a bill for $28 after giving her $2,500 and telling me that the case was too high profile. His mom, they sent a process server over to his house several times, and his mom would always say he wasn't there. And
so he couldn't be served.
Yeah, he wouldn't, because she, at this point, I guess some money had come in.
Okay.
And she redid her whole house, and she put up this iron fence around the house, and basically nobody could just walk up to it like they could once upon a time before. Okay. So it took some time. He wouldn't, so I ended up.
So you're at this point, you're still taking care of Imani on your own, no help.
At this time, they had started probably sending like $300 a month.
And how much was he making at the time? Do you know?
Ooh, who knows? They were definitely signed. They were definitely a hot item at that time. They were, where the party at and all that stuff was all the way out. So and I started seeing videos on TV, and I'm like, whoa, this is a person that we used to do things together at my expense, like go to the movies. Everything we did,
you
together.
paid for the relationship.
I was paying for it. Like, you don't
and then you taking care of the baby.
Then you get money, and I'm like, wow. You're not even going to look at it. This is what you're going to give me, $300 a month for a child. And then it got to a point where one time I was shopping when his mom came in town. Okay. And they were going to go on some trip. So she was there to pick her up. And we went downtown Chicago, and we went into this toy store, FAO Schwartz. And his mom has this Barbie addiction. And so there was this crystal glass, and it was a lipstick tube holder that had Barbie written in rhinestones on it. And the price tag had $299.99 on it. When we got to the counter, I saw her open up Brandon's checkbook and write out a check for the $300+ for the Barbie lipstick tube holder, moments after she had just written me a check for my child support for $300.
Wow.
So at this, and I knew, this was all after the process server had tried to, and I'm just like,
so at this point,
crazy.
you know
like,
who's controlling the funds and why you don't have any help with the money, and why you got that original child support order, because she didn't want, of course, you to be garnishing those tour checks and those album checks.
Yeah.
Now, where do you? I know you're 23 now.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now, obviously, so really, you had no kind of help raising her.
Not in the beginning.
Wow. Okay.
And then I ended up moving here permanently in 2002. I kept her, in Chicago, because I was trying not to be moving her around, and I needed her to be stable in a stable environment. So,
did you pay for this move?
I paid for every move.
Okay.
And once I got back down here, my job basically paid for the move in 2002. And so I got here, and at that time, they moved my child support from $300 to $500.
Okay.
And she was 7 when we moved, and we've been here ever since. Brandon would come over. By this time, he was with a whole different girl.
Okay.
From another group. He was with Latavia from Destiny's Child.
Okay.
And I'm like, okay. It was, the whole thing with that is just another story.
Okay.
But just to give you a little update about that, I really never really even had any kind of respect for that relationship. Latavia was 13 when Amani was born. But that's something else, whatever. She's a little girl compared to me at that time. So, but this was his girlfriend.
Your dad is grown at the time, and Latavia is 13.
He was 19 when Amani was born. Latavia was 13 when Amani was born. So let's just speed up. They're grown. Well, he's grown by the time Amani is 7.
So how old was Latavia at the time when they were dating?
Well, he started dating her when she was still, in the group Destiny's Child. I think she was 16 when he started, but we had an argument about it before, and I was like, "You a pedophile?" And he was like, "Oh, I didn't touch her until she was 17."
I didn't want to say it. I was just like, "Are you hinting that Dad here has some pedophilic?" Wow.
Okay, we did. He was like, "I didn't touch her until she was 17." And I was like, "Duh,
okay.
you still a grown man, but whatever."
Okay. Damn.
Yeah. So
I did not mean for this interview to go this way.
I didn't think it was going to go this way.
I didn't. So I don't want nobody out there saying
It was history. It's just part of the history, and it's part of the story, and it just all leads up. So at that point, once we're here, I have my apartment, I have my job. His $500 is coming in.
But a member of that's some next level shit right there. You got somebody from Destiny's Child and Jagged Edge, two of the hottest groups, and you're only getting $500 a month. And you're taking care of his child full time. Now, how active was he in her life at this time? Was he only when he came off tour?
She had more of a relationship, and the visits were more consistent with her grandmother.
Mm-hmm. Oh, so so was it like on a weekend basis? When did the
the school district.
Okay,
so when she was in Chicago, we were in the suburbs, and we lived in a decent neighborhood. They paid for child support. For private school. They paid her tuition for private school because one day she got lost on a bus because she started out in going to kindergarten in public school, and she got lost on the bus one day, and I flipped out, and he was like, I said, they lost her on the bus. We put her in private school.
Well, she should be in private school. If your dad is at the height of his career at the time, there should be no issues as to what type of lifestyle his daughter lives.
So once we moved, his mom said, oh, the schools are much better here in Georgia than they are in Chicago, which I don't see how that's possible when they're more advanced. That's up north. The northern schools are ahead of our students here. But once we got here, she had, Wayne is the grandfather. He's in education, and these are some good schools. The school that you are zoned for is not good, so she should enroll in school from using my address.
Okay.
So fine, whatever. I don't know. I'm here. I'm new here. I don't know anything
Okay.
about. This is my first.
So you ended up
child.
allowing
So
her
she
to go
ended
to
up
private
going
school.
to a DeKalb County public school.
Now, did she live with grandma at the time?
No,
Or she
she
still
just
lived
would
with
go
you?
over her house, and sometimes she would spend a night during the week, which gave me a chance to work and do because I worked from home.
Okay.
But for the most part, Brandon wasn't in the house because he and his brother had bought this $750,000-$800,000 house outside of her house. So he was around though within a 10-minute drive. But she can tell you how often she saw.
Yeah, how often did you see Dad? Because I know that's the point of this interview is you don't really have a relationship with him.
At that, well, I can't really say at that age because I haven't seen him really too often, period. But at that age, I feel like it's even more sad because we did stay so close to each other. I barely saw him. And when I did see anybody from that side, it like she said, it was always my grandma. I'm always going to my grandma's house. I never...
Okay, so what about birthday parties? Was Dad around for birthdays?
My dad has been on one birthday party, and that was when I was 17.
One birthday party. Okay.
And he waited all the way to 17 to come.
What about parent-teacher conferences?
Never.
He did come to her middle school once.
When the high school.
Your middle school. Lunch. Remember the teacher called y'all some niggas? At school,
oh, so he showed up then.
He showed up then. He did show up for that conference only, but it wasn't a parent-teacher conference. That was more so.
Yeah,
you got this white teacher in the school calling these black kids niggas.
Okay,
and so he came for that, and then he came to a lunch date with her at her high school once.
Okay. Now I want to ask a question for the record. So you've never told her anything bad about her dad?
I mean, she's witnessed arguments of us being on the phone.
Okay.
But no, I haven't ever really bashed him and said, "Oh, your daddy ain't shit, and he's not this, and he's not that."
You just kind of let
I've always encouraged Amani. You know, family is very important. On my side of the family, we're close. When our aunts and uncles get divorced, they are still our aunts and uncles. They still are welcomed in our family.
Yeah,
my grandmother still called my dad after he and my mom divorced. She was like, "How's my fine son-in-law?" You know, she was still always acknowledged. Like, this was foreign. You know, this whole,
this new family dynamic.
Yes, it was just foreign to me, and it was not the norm. This whole dysfunctional situation was just outside of the norm for me.
Okay. So when did you figure out that your dad wasn't like everybody else's dad? At what age did you start to see it?
Honestly, I noticed it. Like when we moved here, I noticed it for myself. I feel like I've always had little girlfriends who've always had father figures in their lives, period. Like a lot of my friends have their dads in their life, so I've always, I'm about to cry.
It's okay, take your time. If you gotta cry, cry. Just don't make sure you lash. So hopefully,
I can say this: when before she got here, she and her two little girlfriends, Diamond and London, we were still in Chicago. They used to always say that they were going to have this little girl group, right? Mm-hmm. So they would get together and they sang little 3LW songs and they were like, "Come on, let's practice this dance move or whatever." They dance routines, this song. And I remember one of them making the comment about, "Well, if it's your daddy, how come we ain't never seen them?"
Yeah, and I think I started boohoo crying, and you got mad and probably cussed my little friend out.
Oh yeah, I was heated. I was like,
so you obviously
it's always been a sensitive topic for me, and it's crazy, and that's why I want to speak about it because just hearing his name is always like can make me cry at the drop of a pen or anything. It's just so annoying, and I feel stuck.
Now I want to ask you because I don't want anybody out there trying to bash your mom. Your mom did not put you up to this interview.
No.
Okay,
so not at all. She actually told me not.
I asked Mom. Turn the camera to me real quick. I asked Mom to support Amani because this was a very emotional thing for her to do, and I did not want this to be like the deadbeat dad hour, but. The fact is, you are coming into a grown woman. You're 23. You're still a baby in my eyes. And you have always wanted your dad there, and he's never been there. And that's why you're here, and that's why Mom has agreed to support you. So, something happened to make you pick up the phone and call me? Well, reach out to me via Instagram. Then we got on the phone. What happened? 'Cause what caused you to say, you know what? Fuck this. I'm telling everything.
Okay. Well, right now they're on tour. Jagged Edge is on tour for they got the
So Def anniversary. Okay.
Right. So I've known that this show was coming up. I don't know, just as long as anyone else has known. I don't know, but I know for a fact that I asked my dad for tickets to the show, and I asked him months prior to the show.
Okay.
So I finally texted him the day of the show, like, "Hey, Dad, how you want me to pick my tickets up?" He's like, "Oh, I have one ticket for you." And I know, like, it might sound petty to a lot of people, but it's like,
no,
for
it's
me,
not petty.
Yeah, it's
Speak
like
your
23
mind.
years of, a bunch of crap. And I felt like I asked you for something so small, and he turned around and acted like I was bugging him. He was like, I only got one ticket. What am I going to do with one ticket? You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't want to go to a packed concert with one ticket by myself. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I'm not walking in. It's not like I'm coming with you, like, and I'm going to be behind stage. I'm going to sit in the crowd.
Just like everybody else.
Like everybody else. You can win more tickets than that on the radio. So for me, it was just like, I felt like he didn't think about me at all. Like, and he never does. And it's just like, I'm tired of that. Like, I can't. Me asking you for a ticket, I would have even accepted two, but one ticket, it's just like, what do you really think about me? Like, how do you really feel about me? You would really want me to come to this show with one ticket? And I don't know.
So you feel like, just because I can read in between the lines, and I don't want to put any words in your mouth, but Dad, you really haven't been there at all for me. So I'm asking you to come through this one time.
Right. And it's not even,
you brush it off like it's no big deal.
Right. And it's not even costing you no money. It's your, you know what I'm saying, you're going to be a part of the show.
Because most kids do accompany their parents on tour. Look at Blue Ivy living her best damn life.
Exactly. And I've witnessed my cousin. My uncle has a son. He takes him, and to this day, he can up and call and be like, Dad, I'm coming with y'all, whatever, on tour. I can never call my dad and say, I'm bored. I want to come with y'all. I want to come
on tour,
on the road with y'all.
And he's never asked?
I've asked. I've asked.
But he's never asked you to say, hey,
no. I've asked, and he's always shut it down. Like, no, you're a girl. You don't need to be around this. No.
Okay. I mean, I can feel him on that, but I mean, you can make an exception.
Right. And but like, it's like, well, if you gonna, tell me that I can't go, at least spend some kind of time with me. We don't spend no time together. I feel like I wouldn't be so pissy and so upset if we did, like, if we had a real relationship, like, I wouldn't care about, like, this ticket thing or,
Do you guys, have you guys ever gone on movie dates, daddy-daughter movie dates, gone to dinner together?
No.
Talk about your first boyfriend?
Let me stop.
Okay.
I'm about to get there.
Okay.
I've been a couple places. Like, we've been to dinners, maybe a couple times.
So you can count on pretty much one hand.
Yeah,
how many
one
times?
hand. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And we went to the movies one time, and every time that I see him, he's got somebody with him. It's not just me and him. It's never been me and him. I could tell you that for sure.
Okay. It's okay. Take your time. Can we get some tissue?
I know, like, we never been.
Thank you.
It's okay.
Out together, like, one-on-one.
Oh, shit. You know why I decided to do the show with you?
Why?
Because I'm that little girl. I always wanted my daddy.
Mm-hmm. I always did.
Thank you. I had my stepdad, but it still didn't make up for, like, what? Why can't my real daddy, the person a lot of people have.
I have so many old messages in my phone where I'm just talking to him about it, and every time it's mentioned, he's like, you took her away from me, and by the time she got back here, she was 7. She was already grown, had formed her opinion about me. That is a child.
Yeah.
7 years old. I mean, it wasn't like that was your first time seeing her. that was plenty of time to repair whatever you
So
thought
you
was
feel like
broken.
he blames you for not being here?
He definitely does blame my mom because he'll say it to this day. He'll be like, your mom has always kept us from doing this and doing that. And I just don't see it. Like, I see regular people, like regular relationships with people with their daddy. And then, we see the people on TV having relationships with their celebrity parents. I've seen, both sides. And I'm just like, I don't care what you say. Like, mama... No, because, no. Mm-mm.
So you ended up seeing it for yourself?
Yeah, like I got my own phone. You can reach out to me. He's never called me. We don't talk. If we ever talk, it's because I'm calling him. He never, ever calls me. Never, never, never. That's not even...
He did manage to come to her graduation.
Okay.
He came to
for 15
see her
minutes
off for prom.
He came to my graduation, and he stayed for a hot second. It's just like I never can get him...
Did he get you any type of graduation gifts?
I did get some gifts for graduation.
Okay.
Let me say this. Over the years, financially, as far as them buying her stuff, that was what they did, in
the beginning.
Yeah. They were always buying clothes, and she always had a lot of stuff for Christmas and things like that. But when it came down to as far as wanting me to have anything at my house, like for her, because sometimes she would take her shopping, the grandmother, and buy her all these beautiful dresses. Because Amani was one of these, I'm a princess, I need beautiful dresses. So she went, like, we literally had some fights in the morning. Like,
she wouldn't let her bring any of the clothes
to my house.
Home.
The regular kick-arounds, yeah, but like the beautiful ball gowns and stuff like that, no, never to my house. And Amani, like, got to the point where, like, I'm a princess. I can't wear anything but dresses. Like, I would get her dressed for school, and I would come back in the room, and she is undressed. We're in Chicago. It's winter. And I gotta wear a pretty dress, and I'm like,
well, I gotta call your grandma.
Put your clothes back on. Put your clothes back on. Like, it's crazy. But she always had this princess mentality, and I always felt like I need to be this princess. Wanted this long hair and all these, I mean, this is what she wanted. But she wanted to be, I think, in her mind, she wanted to be his princess, and she wanted all of this stuff, like, always looked up to her dad. Like, she would never talk to him the way she, back talk to me when,
oh, yeah, they do that. My daughter does that right now. She will check me. But, Daddy, oh, no, I'm with you.
Yeah, and so, like, even when she was talking about, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, and I was like, no, Amani, don't do it. Yeah. I'm going to expose him. I'm like, no, Amani, don't do it.
So she's been wanting to do this, and you did tell me you've been wanting to really tell your story about his... about him not being there for you for a long time, and your mom has always stopped it. Mm-hmm. But I wasn't going to let this interview take place without Mom here, because you're coming from a place of hurt. Mm-hmm. You want your dad to support you. You are a singer like your dad. Mm-hmm. I hear.
Yes. I've always wanted to pretty much be like him, period. And about 7th grade, I think, was like my first time expressing to anybody that I wanted to sing. And I can't say, like, we we had this little Christmas CD out.
Okay.
And I recorded a song, like, with another little boy and my dad for Christmas. And that was, like, my first time telling him I wanted to sing. And I was just excited about singing. And then as I got a little older, because I was about 12 at that time, when I got to high school and I was like, when I graduate, this is really what I want to do. This is, I want to be like you. I'm ready to do it. He was like, oh, well, you need to lose some weight first. And
what?
Yeah.
Has he, your dad, you're telling him, I want to be like you when I grow up. Mm-hmm. Okay. And he tells you, you need to lose weight. Mm-hmm.
Yep.
I think if that were the case, there's ways that you can formulate that to say, okay, well, you want to sing? Let's get you prepared to sing.
Right.
And all of that comes with how to discipline yourself,
Right.
eating right, exercising to keep your mind clear, keep your energy up. And so all of that comes with that. But just to tell you,
He's always been that way. I remember clearly one time I was saying, like, how come you never take her this place and that place? Well, she's not old enough, and that means you would have to bring her. And I don't want the public to know that I have a baby by a fat girl. And I was probably 4 or 5 sizes smaller than what I am now. At that point, when he said that, he said those exact words. I don't want the public to know I have a baby by a fat girl.
And
well,
then, that just made me feel like,
Just
how do you feel
the-
about me? You know what I'm saying?
Like you're not the smallest, and
I mean,
what in the world?
I'm your child,
Right.
and he's not the skinniest person on the planet,
Right.
Right, like. I mean,
and it's always like whenever we have a general conversation, I don't understand, but it always, whenever I bring her up talking about, if she wants to sing, why not let her take her into the studio? She can work on her weight or whatever while she's doing something.
like
right. Motivate me, inspire me to do something.
Every singer has done that. They have to work on their weight. They have to learn how to eat right because it is very challenging doing tours. You just can't be out of shape thinking you're going to do a tour night after night.
Yeah,
right.
I was paying a girl $75 an hour to train her.
Singing or
train her singing, train a vocal coach. So I was doing that, and without his support, he wasn't helping me with that.
So he just basically dismissed the fact and wasn't willing to help you to break in and introduce you to the people that...
Right, and what's crazy to me is, like, I'll see him working with some, random posting pictures of promoting the next person. And I think one of the girls did lose some weight. Like, she was a bigger girl, and she ended up coming down. And I seen... And it's just
your weight does not determine your success, right? You do know that, right?
Well,
but I know it's hard coming from someone that you look up to and have looked up to your whole life, like your dad.
Right.
And then you see the magazines, you see the Beyoncés and things like that. But you do know that Aretha Franklin
yes
would have broke the internet if she was
right. If they was back then.
You do know that, right? Jennifer
Hudson was.
The list goes on. I mean, and I'm talking about they're chocolate girls. Okay, so I don't think that has anything to do with anything. I think other people's insecurities start to shine through, and just like your mom just said, Dad felt like he didn't want anybody to know that he had a quote, his words, a baby by a fat woman, and my baby I think is fat. So I think that was the real problem. It was his insecurities.
I already know it.
Okay.
I know it.
I just wanted to be clear on that. Like, that is not your shit. That's his shit and his loss, because you do have a beautiful voice. I hear.
Yeah.
And we've said a lot during this interview. Mom has given us a backstory, and thank you for being here to support her and to really tell what it was. Like, you were trying your best to provide a co-parent situation, but the fact of the matter is, you said that Dad just never was there.
And then he just, once we did finally got him into court, the whole court thing, because I know we stopped at the whole $500 thing.
And that's what she got till she was 18 years.
No.
You didn't get that?
We ended up going, we finally got him into court.
Okay.
Well, I ended up getting another lawyer. So I want to just jump back on that subject, because I don't want the world to think that all he ever did was give her $500. He wouldn't show. So it was my lawyer who asked the judge to set his, he wouldn't bring his records, he wouldn't show. So we didn't know what what he was actually making.
Okay.
But I knew he was making way more than what he was paying out, as far as, she was not living anything like him.
No, we never lived anything close to my dad.
Okay.
So the judge at one point set his child support monthly to $10,000 and gave him a $500,000 back pay. So
okay.
Then my lawyer asked me for a copy of of a check that he paid me out of. And so he ended up freezing an account, that particular account that he paid me out of, which had only $40,000 in it. But that's when, he started, it kind of woke him up.
And at what age was this, though? How old was she at the time when
That was she had to be about, Amaya was here at that time.
Is that Harrison?
So it was about 8 or 9.
Okay.
And she was about 8 or 9 at that time. And so I wouldn't answer my phone. I started getting the phone calls. And then he came over to the house, which was really funny because months before that, I had just had a new baby. I had a 4-month-old baby, and I went to Chicago to have the baby and came back when she was 4 months.
Okay.
But I maintained, keeping my apartment and stuff at that time, which was 10 minutes away from him. It was also in Stone Mountain. And when we came back, it was January. It's cold outside. I didn't have a vehicle at the time.
Okay.
So she was back into I had to put her into another public school.
Okay.
Which was around the corner, which was a bad, I guess the reputation of the school wasn't so good. And right next door to this brand new townhouse subdivision that I moved into was this little hood apartment.
Okay.
And they didn't provide bus service.
Oh.
So I had to walk her at 6 o'clock in the morning in 22-degree weather through this hood little apartment complex with my baby and wrap my baby up. It's 10 cars in the driveway around the corner, 10 minutes away. I'm asking him for bus transportation. Give her a bus, provide bus transportation. Come take her to school. If not that, then let me drive one of the cars. And he was like, you can't afford it. You can't afford to pay for it if something happened. That's what insurance is for. Right. I'm taking your child, she's crying on the way, it's freezing out here, Mom. Call my daddy. I said, baby, I tried. So I'm doing what I got to do. I'm walking my baby to school. And then I have to walk her back, and with a 4-month-old. So it was kind of crazy and tragic for her at that time because she wasn't used to this. Okay. So it got a little ugly, and he finally did, show up at the door. I said, don't open that door. Not Imani. Imani was opening that door. So I went upstairs with my baby, closed myself in the door and locked it. So I don't have nothing to say to him. Right. Begging, please talk to my daddy. Please talk to my daddy.
I tried. That's what you said.
But he's at my door at this time because you wouldn't show up to take your child to school, but when that $40,000 got frozen.
And that's how he's always been. Anytime something hit him or affect him personally,
financially.
Financially.
Okay. That's when you want to show up and
That's
talk.
when he come around, want to have a conversation.
And to this day, he still is talking about that $40,000. That you stole this $40,000 from me, and that wasn't even my money. Well, at some point or another, it was your money because all the money that you made and what you paid out, I remember asking him to help me buy a washer and dryer. I'm going to the laundromat for these kids. He was like, I got to buy my own washer and dryer. Dude, you got Hummers and Benzes and all kind of stuff in your driveway.
No, let me switch it. What does he have now?
As far as a car?
As far as a car, a house? How is he doing?
He fine. He hurt.
He has, well, to my knowledge, he's driving a Stingray, right?
Right.
Stingray.
Oh, wow. Okay. Mm-hmm. Okay.
So they have twin Stingrays, and they live in a decent... They've
always had nice cars. They've always lived super nice.
Their houses are probably...
No matter if you've seen them on TV, on videos or not, whether you've seen them on the scene or not, they ain't never lived like us. They never went without. Never mind. Go ahead. I mean, we've had conversations with his accountant. They, kind of got into it or at one point, and she was having her harsh feelings toward my dad and my grandma. So she would talk to my mom a lot. And she would talk in front of me, and I would hear a lot of things your dad is this, your dad is that. He spends over $1,000 on weed every month and can't give you, but she writing us how much? $400 checks?
$400, $500, $600 checks.
And this was recent. This was high school.
So by the time we got back in the court, the judge, and he finally did show up with his mama.
Okay.
They were doing kind of bad. I want to say at that point they had lost their house, and I don't know if they were fake. Whatever kind of tax forms he brought in, they were saying that basically he was netting about maybe between $40,000 and $50,000 a month. So the judge gave him a child support order of $1,250 a month and a $60,000 back pay. And Amani was about 13 at the time, 12 or 13 at the time, when he started paying that, I want to say. She was definitely in middle school.
Okay.
And he paid it for about 3 years.
Okay. This was the most consistent.
That was the most consistent. Okay. And then all of a sudden he had a new baby, and my child support, he split it between the $1,250 started getting split between myself and the other baby mama. The second
and
baby
I didn't
mama.
even know about my little sister.
And this was not by the court. This was his doing. And to this day, the $60,000 is not touched. The other $650 that he shorted me for years is not touched or paid back. And now he has completely cut it off.
Now, when you say not touched, what do you mean?
Like, he hasn't given me a dime of none of that back. And I have documentation because I tried to get it.
If it gets ugly out here after the interview, I'll ask you to just go on and fax that over.
Okay.
Or I'll take copies today just in case they're trying to say it's different. So I will take copies after the interview.
I've kept a good record. And I, was trying to get it. He claims that, she's 21, I don't have to pay it, which is a dog lie because my brother is 30 and my dad still pays.
Yeah. My dad paid back child support for me up until I was 24, 25. I remember I wrote a check for him because he was about to go to jail. I kid you not, true story. He called me, he said they about to put me in jail. I was like 4 months pregnant at the time, so I asked my husband, I was like, my dad said we don't have $300, like.
I wouldn't care if the judge cut it down to $200 a month. I want every dime that's coming because it's money that she needs.
Right.
She needs it now. She's calling him, asking him, Dad, can you have? I mean, it's not that I need it for myself anymore. I went to school.
You just kind of wanted to.
Are
you in college? Are you in school?
No, I was. Well, I'm going back. I plan to go back in January.
Now, how were you paying for that?
Loans.
Student loans.
Yes, yeah. So I
asked him to sign.
Your dad drives a Stingray, and you're having to pay for student loans.
Yes. And I work, and I have my own apartment, my own car that he has not helped me get. And
I want to say congratulations.
Thank you. But I know I just recently had a conversation with him the other day, and he was like, you're lazy. You want to blame everything.
Lazy.
Yeah. You negative. You view things like your mom and all the negativity going on in your life. You just want to take it out and blame it on me. And I'm like, that's not even true. Lazy is I'm the furthest thing from lazy. I've had a job since I was 16. So I don't want to hear lazy. I just don't, because when I ask him, I think he says I'm lazy because I'll ask him, to help me better my life by help me get on the TV show, help me do this, help me do something because I'm struggling. I'm working a minimum wage jobs or whatever. And it's just that's crazy. I'm lazy though, because I don't know how to put myself on, and I'm asking you for your help. I don't think I'm lazy. I just think that I was trying to take care of myself, and I want to be a celebrity. I want to sing and I want to do these things, but I don't know the steps to take and how to put myself on. If I did, I would be there now. And so, with me not knowing, I just went ahead and lived a regular life because, he hasn't given me much to work with. So I don't know, been trying to take care of myself to the best of my ability, and to hear I'm lazy and just him never acknowledge anything good that I do.
It's because he hasn't been around to know if you're doing good.
She's hurting. And every time we try to, when I step, I get involved sometimes and I'll say things to him. And the last time I did was her most recent birthday, so her 23rd birthday. I took her to the nail salon. We were just sitting in there getting our nails and feet done. And I said, "Did your dad call you?" And she was like, "No." And so immediately I grabbed my phone and I started texting. And I'm like, "Hey, it wouldn't have taken you a minute to send a text, a happy birthday text. Mm-hmm. Your firstborn, how did you not call her for her birthday?" Mm-hmm. And so he was like, I don't know the day. I don't know what day of the week it is, let alone the date. That's not an excuse.
$1,000 worth of weed a month.
Yeah, well,
Will
you know.
Not trying to throw shade. That's what that's what they saying. But wow.
And so
it takes courage to do this. Okay.
Yeah.
And like I said, I wasn't trying to spin this to make him look bad. You know, these are the facts from your
Right.
perspective and from dealing with him and from you being his child. Now, he just had another baby last year.
Mm-hmm.
He celebrated that baby and posted that baby to social media.
Mm-hmm.
How'd you take that?
I've said some things to him about me being on his page.
Has he ever posted you?
No. And that's what I said. I'm like, dude, you really don't care about me. You couldn't. Like, it's little stuff. You can't get me tickets. You can't post me on your page. It's just like, you're not there. I can't talk to you. It's just a lot of stuff. And so I said something about the picture thing. And I'm like, you post my little brother and sister all day. Like, that's the least you could do is post my picture on your Instagram. I'm like, people don't even know that I even exist. And he's like, oh, well, my son lived with me. Don't be ignorant. You know, I spend a lot of time with him, so I see him every day.
Wow.
So don't be ignorant.
Wow.
But you live
and then he said, all you got to do is ask me. I don't have no pictures of you. I get pictures of your little sister all the time because she sent me pictures. If you want to be on my page, just ask me. I said, did they have to ask you? No, I don't think they did. You know, and it's just like, why do I always get this mistreatment, this whole, like...
stepchild.
Right, the ugly stepchild. I swear that's how I feel. And I've told him this and nothing has changed.
Now, not that it's a bad thing. Do you feel jealous that he has the relationship that he has with his current, with the kids that came after versus you? And it's not a bad thing. I was jealous.
I don't know.
Like, what is it that, about them that you want to spend time with versus me?
It's not even really jealousy. It's just more like frustration and anger with him because I love my little brother and sister.
Okay.
And even a few months ago, my sister was down here because she lives in Milwaukee.
Okay.
She was down here visiting for the
summer.
How
old is she?
She's 11, 12.
Okay. 12.
I really think she's 11 because she's only a few months older than mine.
Yeah, I think she'll be 12.
Well, that right there, the fact that you guys are debating on the age says
a lot.
Right.
Okay.
So, my little sister was here, and she wanted to see me, so I went over to his house, and she wanted to like spend a day with me. We had plans to go swimming. I was gonna link her up with my little brother and sister on my mom's side, and we was all gonna have, a little fun day. We're gonna go swimming or whatever. So, to my knowledge, I'm thinking I'm going to pick my little sister up to spend some time with her and take her with me.
Okay.
And I get there, and I knew something shady was going on. We was upstairs in his house, in her room or a guest room. Whatever. We was in one of the guest rooms, and we were having a conversation. And he sent his girlfriend upstairs, and she was like, "Bella, your dad wants to see you." So I already knew that meant he just wanted to see, he just wanted her to come downstairs. So clearly they could talk without me being in the room. And I know she came back upstairs. So I sat in the room, and I waited for her to come back upstairs. She came back upstairs, like, about to cry, and was just like,
Take your time.
She was just like, I can't stand him. Like all day I've been thinking that me and you was about to hang out. We was going to do something. And he's telling me that I got to go to the accountant house. Her name's Mamil. You gotta. He asked, "Can you drop me off at my meal house?" And I'm like, "Okay, that's fine. That's cool. I'll drop you off."
Why did she have to go to the accountant's house?
Right, because they were they had a show that night, and so
so she couldn't stay with you,
right? And that's what I said. I got my own apartment 15 minutes down the street from you. She could just stay with me.
But he would rather her be with a stranger,
right? So
she's like her aunt though. They're very close.
But still,
but she's not a relative.
Right.
Like, this is big sister. Like,
right. And I don't
see
see her, you know what I'm saying? We don't really spend no time together. So, and she said it out of her own mouth, like, why would he want me to go over there versus spending time with my sister? And I said, look, I don't know. Your dad's funny like that. I'm like, just get your stuff together. I'm about to drop you off. And I said, I'm just going to drop you off. I'm not going to go in. Because I don't know how the accountant feels about me these days. Because I know that, like, it's like he let anybody disrespect my mom and say whatever about her. And, like, I don't agree with all of that. But I know that she don't like my mama. And I know that, like, she has sent some money to me for him, on behalf of him or something. And I just sent a simple thank you. And she didn't even text me back, "You welcome," nothing. Like, she don't communicate with me no more. Don't nobody mess with me. It's like, if he don't talk to me, nobody talks to me. I don't see, they have all kind of family trips, all kind of family events. I never know about them. But
So they never invite you?
never invite me. I never know about these things. And then I come around and everybody's like, "Oh, we tried to call you. Y'all didn't try to call me." And it is what it is. But like I was saying about my sister, when I went over there, because I didn't even finish that story. When I went to get my sister and she came back upstairs talking about she had to go to the accountant's house, and I told her I wasn't going to go in. I was just going to drop her off or whatever and make sure she got in. She was like, "Why you don't want to go in?" I said, "It's just a long story." And she was like, and she's 11, mind you. So she was like, "If I was you, I wouldn't want to go in either. I know she don't like you." And this is what she said to me. I'm like, "What are you talking
she's like
about?"
11 years old.
Yeah,
Like,
right. I said, "What you talking about?
Like
How you know?"
For real.
So she's much wiser than
yeah.
her. Okay.
So she's like, "Yeah, I know she don't like you because her and Yaya sit and talk about you and your mom all the time." And I'm like, "Really? Yaya is my grandma. That's his mom." So the accountant and my grandma be sitting having conversations about me and my mama in front of you. Like, that's crazy. And so that pissed me off. And but see, I'm always like, I bite my tongue a lot with him and I don't even get things off my chest. So when he says stuff like, "Oh, you're so negative and you have a view on life like your mother," well, how? Because I never even say half the things to you that I want to say to you, really and truly.
Have you ever disrespected your dad?
He might believe that I have, but I don't think so.
But I want to switch the conversation because, yes, I want to talk about Amani and what she wants to do. You can sing.
Yes, I can sing.
And being that your dad has been in the music industry ever since you were a little girl, you've never had the opportunity to really to really build on your dream.
Right.
And you're saying that he's never given you the tools to do so.
Right.
Okay, mom has paid for his singing lessons to kind of help put you on that path. And, he basically just told you your words that you were too big. If you could sing anything right now about what you want from your father, because this interview has to do with what you want from him. Can you put that in words and sing it?
Oh, gosh. Okay. Well, can I ask him a question, too? Because I
ask him a question.
Okay, well, firstly, I would just like to know why my life has been even different than your two kids after me. Why you treat them. I feel like you treat them better than me. And I kind of always just wanted to know why. Also, I want him to know that, like, even if he never believes in me, it's okay.
It's okay. Take your time. Take your time.
I want to cry. But even if he doesn't believe in me, I feel like it's okay because at the end of the day, I believe in me and I'm going to get, all the success that I feel like I want and deserve out of life with or without him, period.
That's all you want to say? Anything else?
I love you and I never did this
to her.
Oh, she's going to make me cry.
It's just like, I love you so much and I didn't do this to hurt you. But I'm like doing it for me because I'm stuck and I just need some closure. And
you said that you found out that he lived in the same cities as you in Conyers. I'm sorry, Mom. I should have gave you one. I'm going to need one myself.
My mom and I've been staying in Conyers for I don't know how long. So when he moved to the area, first of all, you knew that this is where I was located. And
take your time.
I mean, he's been to our house
several times, and then he's even like, when I finally did get him to send me the address, he was like, yeah, it's not too far from your mom's house. So, you knowing that, why wouldn't you say something, before my sister came into town? Because even if she didn't, then I probably still wouldn't know that you stayed literally like 12 minutes down the road from me. And I feel like that's like so hurtful. Like, you really just don't care about me at all. But it's cool because I've always loved him. And I still do. I'm just hurt. And I'm not doing this to hurt him at all. I'm kind of like...
So why are you doing it? Look at the camera and tell them, why are you doing it?
I'm doing it because I feel like I'm stuck and I can't move past a situation that you don't even want to talk about. Like, he don't even want to really like sit down and address things, and I kind of need him to, so that I can be my best self, like. And I'm just tired of feeling like not good enough. Like,
are you depressed?
I am.
You are enough.
And I'm tired of feeling like, like it was just, I don't know, like I'm just an embarrassment. Because honestly, that's how I feel.
And I will say, there is like no guidebook to parenting. We all make mistakes as parents, as people in general. There's no perfect person. And, but at least be open-minded to the things that you hear when somebody is calling out for help and telling you they want this from you. Like, be receptive to that as a parent. You can't just, Money's acted out. And I always tell him, I think that, she's acting like this because of you, and it's like, no, you just trying to point the finger. And, it's always, I was doing the right thing. I've been doing this, and you can do your worst to hurt me because I know I've done my part as a dad to make her life, the best that I can make it. And it's not true. Okay. You said that so many times to the point where you really probably believe that.
Okay.
So, okay. Amani, I love you. I just want you, to continue to carry on. I do want you to go back to school. I do want you to sing. I would love for your daddy to, help you. If he can't, you'll get it, somewhere, somehow,
I did. Look at me. I did. So it's possible, and I think it's going to make you stronger. But I do want to end the show on a good note because we do got to wrap up things. Okay. I want you to sing something. Okay.
There is someone here inside, someone I thought had died so long ago. Ooh, I'm screaming out for my dreams to be heard. They will not be pushed aside or turned into your own, all 'cause you won't listen. I am alone at a crossroad. I'm not at home in my own home.
So, Amani, what you did was amazing.
Thank you.
You gave me chills. even I mean, and this is all that you wanted your dad to do was just listen. Mm-hmm. Okay. Mm-hmm. Mom, what did you think about that before we end this show?
I think she has a beautiful voice, and I think that the world needs to hear it.
Okay. So, Amani,
but he really needs to hear.
Okay. So, Amani, you want to sing?
Yes.
And you're going to sing?
Yes, I'm going to sing.
With or without?
With or without him. I'm looking for a serious production team right now. I catch me, I'm going to be less nervous.
Okay. Now, with that being said, I want you to tell everybody that just listened to you. And I know Daddy's going to listen to this and see this interview. Where can they find Amani on Instagram, Facebook?
Yeah, Amani Dior on Instagram and Amani Casey on Facebook.
And you're open to what? To work with anybody?
Yeah, definitely. I definitely
who wants to come and develop this raw natural talent.
Yes, definitely open to working with anybody.
So how do you feel now that you've got this out after
I feel
all
a
these
whole
years?
lot better. I feel a whole lot better, and honestly, I kind of knew that I would, and that's why I really wanted to talk about it. I just had to get off my chest.
All right, thank you, Mom.
Thank you, Tasha.
And spilling that wine, girl. Woo! I knew we needed you here for the backstory. I was like, wait a minute, Kandi? Latavia was 13? Damn, we got some exclusives today. She was like, I'm here to tell, and she got the envelope. Look, let me see that envelope, Mom. Let me show them that envelope real quick. Look.
Pull it down.
Okay. Look, she got the, okay.
That's
Look,
order.
Amani and Brandon Casey. So this is the Circuit Court of Cook County, Illinois. So this is real. So ain't no denying that this ain't my baby. Okay, she got paperwork on him. So, but thank you so much, Amani, for being here. Thank you, Mom.
You're so welcome. Thank you,
Thank
for
you,
having
Auntie.
us. Thank you for having us.
And give me a hug.
Thank you.
You're
so
gonna go
much.
off and you're gonna do amazing
Thank
things. And now I gotta go. Bye.